All right, what's going on, y'all? Just finished watching a fight again between Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos. And there's not much that I noticed this time around that I didn't notice before. I thought it was a clear-cut win for me in the Kambosos and picking Kambosos as the winner. As far as my scorecard, pretty much the same. I actually think you can actually give a round or two more to Kambosos. I think he really just won the fight. I don't think Tio won, but I originally scored it a draw going into the last two, and I gave both of the championship rounds to George Kambosos. All right. So anyway, Teofimo Lopez, where was his jab? He tended to just follow George around. Didn't really make use of the jab unless he was following it up with the right hand. He was only using it to set up the right hand at times. Where was the jab? And I think part of the problem is we know the game plan was all screwed up. You can tell after the first round that these guys wanted, they were so eager for a knockout that that was the only game plan. I don't know if they wanted to get him out of here early because of all the things that was said leading up to the fight, or maybe it's because they knew that Teofimo Lopez couldn't really go 12 rounds. Maybe he had trouble making weight. I really don't know, and I'm not trying to make any excuses for him. I know Teofimo Lopez is capable of doing better than that, but he lost, and it is what it is. I've seen him fight better than that. I think it has to do with a lot of things. He has some personal issues going on. All of the reschedule dates. And plus, I think the main thing is he totally underestimated his opponent. He treated George Kambosos like he was a tune-up fight. Yes, it's a mandatory. No, it's not Haney or Tank or Ryan Garcia or Josh Taylor or some of these other top fighters that people want to see him face. It maybe not have been none of those guys. And I know the majority of us, like myself, had picked him to win. But it was still a worthy opponent. It was a good mandatory. And I assumed he would fight him as if he's fighting another elite fighter, And he did not do that that night of the fight. And, it is what it is. It showed. It showed in his fight. Where was the jab? Again, where was the body shots? Outside of a couple rounds, he really didn't go to the body. There was no adjustments being made here. There was a point that he slowed down, but it was because he had no choice but to slow it down because he kept getting clipped. He kept getting timed. He kept getting countered. He kept walking right into right hands, and there were no adjustments really made, not anything that really made a difference for him. Where's the TO that thought that was going into the fight to fight Lomachenko? And that fight, yes, he was the aggressor in that fight, but he was smart. And we didn't see that here in this fight. And this is part of the reason why he lost. And I blame a lot of that in his corner. Because even if you are being overly aggressive, after you get knocked down in the first round, your corner shouldn't be telling you got to get this guy out of here. His pops told him, you need to slow down. But then his pops told him, what are you doing? Get this guy out of here. You can't tell the guy that just got knocked down. And plus, the right hand that George drew right after that knockdown landed too. It's just that Tio ate it, but it was a clean right hand, the one that George fell down from. If that could have easily been another punch to knock him down or possibly knock him out. Tio was there to get hit. He exposed his defense, and as good of a talent I still think he is, because I'm not going to completely write him off for losing a fight. I mean, he's 24 years old. He's still very, very talented, and I know he can do better than that because I've seen him do better than that. But it's still a bad loss. It's still a big upset, probably the biggest upset of the year. And he has been exposed in the sense that it's not just about what you're doing in the ring, like as far as your ability. All right. I'm not questioning Teofimo Lopez boxing ability. I think if he got exposed, it's just mentally him and his whole camp got exposed. Did a lot of talking. Over the last couple of days, I've been listening to some YouTube content creators, and they've been playing clips of things that he said leading up to this fight, or even the whole year, about not about, because I've seen a majority of his interviews and his back and forth with Devin and stuff like that, calling him an email champion. Like, we already knew all of that, right? I'm talking about he's been out of pocket talking about other fighters that's not even in the division, things that I've never even heard him say before. And, when you say all of that, you got to expect the slander to come. People are going to talk as much trash as possible. I see that he took down his social media. I don't know all of it. I seen him tweeting earlier that they took it down. I mean, that's good. If you have to take it down, do whatever you got to do to clear your head. Social media at this point right now, you probably don't want to go on Twitter and look at your mentions and see a bunch of people just clowning you. It's probably not a good look mentally. But I think the mental aspect of Teo got exposed because you showed us, it's not your ability, it's just that you showed us that you lost your hunger. All right. You were unfocused and you weren't able to adjust, and your corner was probably not giving you the proper steps into adjusting, because even after the fight was over, you said you won 10 out of 2 rounds, and your father, even in a post-fight interview off camera, it was on camera, but outside of the ring, he doubled down and said it again. I saw the Seconds Out Radio Raheem interview, and I was like, oh, this guy is delusional. His father is being delusional right now. Like, what's going on? Is that what Teo has to be getting it from him? Because his father is telling him he's doing good throughout the fight. Whenever they put the camera on him, his father is telling him, like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. And like, what? No, this can't happen. This can't keep happening. I said before, I hope some change got to be made. I give his father for all the credit in the world for being there for him and taking him this far, but this is as far as it goes, in my opinion. This is as far as it goes. I already said this, but I'm gonna double down on that. After watching this again and listening to all those interviews that I listened to, man, at this level, now that you guys won and beat Lomachenko, everything just went downhill. You know what I'm saying? And when you're that delusional, that means something needs to change. Earlier I was watching a little bit of Devin Haney. Because you know how fights are. When there's an upset or somebody loses a fight, people like to go and just think of all of these scenarios of like, well, if Lomachenko didn't need surgery or he wasn't injured, he would have won. Or if Devin Haney would have fought him first, he would have exposed. So everybody likes to go into scenarios, all right? I don't really particularly like doing that, because I like to base things as we see it or as we get it. And I don't know how the Devin Haney fight would I want. You know what I'm saying? Because Devin Haney was clearly outscoring Linares all fight long until he got rocked with a short right hand counter. And, he was wobbling right back to his corner. I know this is one big punch, but, again, Teofimo might be down. Can he take the right hands that George took? George got to get a lot of credit, not only because of his boxing ability that he displayed here, but he also got to get credit because of his chin. I mean, you got to understand, Teo might have done bad in a sense where much more was expected from him. But he connected with a lot of right hands, enough to hurt anybody, I mean, he didn't even land against Lomachenko that clean. He landed against George clean. He landed against Comey. Comey went down. George ate a lot of those right hands. And Kambosos, he took him. He took him, all of the fighters before that couldn't take him, I know Nakatani did, but I don't even think Nakatani caught as many clean right hands as George Kambosos did in this fight. And George did go down and he was stunned, but guy got a good chin. Gotta get credit for that. So we can't do what ifs because we still don't know if Haney can beat, Teofimo Lopez. We gotta wait and to see what happens when they actually fight each other. I don't like to do the scenarios after one outcome of one fight. Haney has his biggest test coming up this weekend. All right, so what if he loses? It's possible he might lose this fight. I think he's gonna win, but you never know. Moving on with George. George, everyone called them out basically. Shakur called them out, said he's willing to go out there and fight. Of course, Haney would want it. Ryan Garcia came out of nowhere and he wants to fight. He's willing to go out to Australia. I don't know what's gonna happen. I would like to see either Lomachenko or Haney get a shot. I think they're the most deserving. Obviously, if Tank is willing to fight George, I think that they will probably go with Tank, but you never know. I don't know how that would work. But those are all good fights. I kind of hope it's either Loma, Haney, or Tank. I kind of want it to be Haney more than anybody though. That's just me. I want it to be Haney. All right. But Tank is cool. Loma is definitely cool, especially if Loma wins against Comey, which is expected. And we'll see. George, if those guys are willing to fly out to Australia, it shouldn't be a problem. As far as Teofimo Lopez, move up to 140. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I personally believe that, I don't know. I don't know if he was drained. If he was drained, he's drained, then move up to 40. Only him and his dad and his camp knows that. I don't know. What I do know is that he fought the wrong fight. And I think if he fought the right fight, there was a possibility he would have won this fight. A better chance that he did based on that performance. I know he's more capable than that. All right? But if you're going to use the weight thing as being your only excuse, whatever. Go up to 140 and never come back down to 135 again if you can't make the weight. All right? Anyway, that's my final thoughts on it. I don't think there's really much more to say. The kid, I think the kid and his father, I think the embarrassment is based on what they say. It's what they say. Anyone can lose a fight, but it's what you said. He'll bounce back, but changes definitely need to be made, and he needs to change in here. And I think he needs to change the corner. All right, my opinion. Anyway, subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. Share the video as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.